So to start off, if you want to skip on and just see the transfer stuff, by all means do. But to start off with the performance last night, there's some hypocrisy here. I'll start off. I wanted to watch the full match highlights back and see it from a television perspective rather than from being seated as a fan's perspective. And the only place that you can watch the game that was played at St James's is on Manchester City TV with a subscription, which is fucking ironic, isn't it? But to start off, genuinely, I thought the performance was fairly good last night. I thought Eddie Howe deserved credit for being able to put out a team 3 days after playing in the FA Cup against Bournemouth and playing a full extra time and penalties. I thought overall the performance of that Newcastle side that was played last night was really good. I thought that it wasn't the best performance, but there was desire there. We set up well. We created chances, probably more chances than we've created in a lot of other games this season. And we had enough chances to walk away with something last night, although we didn't. But what I would say is, you will see me, or you'll have, if you've watched for any amount of time, you'll have seen me moan about how Liverpool have played against us, how Chelsea have played against us, how certain teams will low block, they'll see out a game, you know, gamesmanship, the dark art, so on and so forth. But honestly, yesterday, Manchester City, unbelievable. For a team that claims to be the best in the league, the best team in this generation, for the trophies they've won, for everything. The biggest shithouse performance I've ever seen from a Pep Guardiola team. The time wasting was unreal. Trying to take throw-ins 20, 30 yards further up the pitch than where the ball went out. Cynical tackles, cynical fouls. And the refereeing from Chris Kavanagh last night was absolutely appalling. And if you do manage to go back and watch the full game highlights, I would make a key point to watch Bernardo Silva. Because Bernardo Silva made 5 fouls in this game. 3 of which were when Newcastle were on a break, on a transition. So where we'd been defending, we're just about to transition up the field. 2 of which we have 3 players in front of the players who were fouled. 1 being Lewis Hall, 1 being Bruno Guimaraes. And both times the fans went absolutely mental and no card is given from Chris Kavanagh. Now, in the second half of this game, Kieran Trippier makes 1 foul, yellow card straight away. Bruno Guimaraes makes 1 foul, yellow card straight away. And I can understand the frustration when Sandro Tonali gets booked. He's just run over, grabbed a player and pulled him to the floor. But the way this game was set up, the way it played out from the referee, he had no control over this match. Now, I'm not saying that Newcastle deserved to beat Man City. I'm not saying that Man City didn't deserve the goals that they scored. And I'm not saying that the fouls that Newcastle committed weren't yellow cards. What I am saying is Man City get a hell of a lot of leeway when it comes to breaking up play and how they tactically approach a game. Now, in this match, there's cynical fouls, there's cynical holding, there's cynical positioning. The Erling Haaland offside for a goal, as he's holding Malik Chow. The letter of the law states that he is offside. The letter of the law is that if he is behind Nick Pope as the ball comes in, touched off the header, and he is blocking a player from being able to get to the ball, he's offside. Why this took 5.5 minutes, and the first time I've ever seen a referee sent to a monitor to give the overall verdict of offside, shows you how poorly this system is working. Realistically, There is no call that should take 5 minutes to be looked at, let alone an offside. If you've drawn the lines and he's off, he's off. And I think they need to get a grip of this or scrap it all together, because realistically, fans in the stadium have no idea what's going on. That 5 minutes feels like 20 minutes. And the verdict is unclear. Even when it's announced, it's unclear. So, personally, I thought the refereeing was appalling. I thought City, it is what it is. You'll see plenty of other teams do it. And I'm sure plenty of fans will say, Newcastle, that it's what we won a trophy from doing. But realistically, it's poor. It's poor football to watch. Now, I know a lot of people will say a win's a win, but it's just dreadful football to watch. On the other hand, I will say the good and bad points for Newcastle. The finishing last night was abysmal. I felt that Johan Wissa had 2 chances that he snatched at. There was no composure. It's on a plate for him. Hit the target and you score. I also felt, and not to give a hard time to Nick Voltemade, but Nick Voltemade, there's a chance there where if he hits it first time, he scores. Without a doubt, all he has to do is hit it first time and put it on target and he scores. And he takes a touch and City get back in position. And overall, not being clinical in games will mean that you'll be out of a tie before you've started. And I do feel that Newcastle will be out of this tie. Our track record, Eddie Howe's track record of going to the Etihad, realistically, we haven't scored at the Etihad under Eddie Howe. And I think going into that second leg of the Carabao Cup tie, even if we get the first goal, Man City have got the team, they've got the squad depth to be able to see this tie out. I'd pretty much write off the second leg, unless a miracle happens. The second leg of this tie, I believe we're out of it. But the good sides of what I saw last night, and I'll say it again, Lewis Hall is a fantastic player, a worthy England left back for years to come. This kid has got it all. I believe he could play midfield. I could believe he could play left wing. His desire, his movement, his positioning, even down to being able to read ahead of time where a ball is going to be and put himself in a position between him and the striker to make sure that he can ease the ball out of play, give Newcastle the time to get back in position and regroup. There are players in this team that aren't doing that. So I was disappointed with certain performances last night, but overall I thought it wasn't a bad display. We were unlucky. Had we taken the lead, I feel that the game would have been completely different, but as always. And then moving on from that into the transfer window. So the transfer window fix. Genuinely, I don't believe Newcastle are going to go out and spend anything more than 40 million max in this transfer window. And Giorgio Scalvini is not the player that is going to come in the situation we're in and fix things. And I genuinely feel like Newcastle need to bolster with what I want to call journeymen. And the easiest fix for this, if we're keeping our powder dry till the summer, is to bring Matt Targett back from loan at Middlesbrough. And I know Matt Targett is not the quality that we need to see out gaining Champions League football. I understand that. But Matt Targett is the guy that will give us rest for Lewis Hall. And we cannot afford to run Lewis Hall into the ground and cause him injuries if we plan to progress this squad further as it is. So what I would say is Matt Targett needs to come back. Now, Ross Wilson, if you look through his signings that he made whilst at Notts Forest, has brought in players for 15, 20 million pounds who are decent journeymen in Premier League sides. There are centre-backs there are full-backs there are midfielders there, wingers there, that he has bought for 15 to 20 million quid that could see us through this season. Now, what I think Newcastle should do is go out and sign 2 players, both in defensive positions, to see us through the end of this season in the 10 to 15 million pound range, and bring Matt Targett back from loan. And I'm sure Matt Targett might be at Middlesbrough thinking, I'm living my best life, I'm settled here, I'm happy, I don't care whether he's happy. I don't care whether he puts in the best performances when he comes back. We need him back for rotation. Tino Livramento is rumoured to be out for 8 weeks. Dan Burn's still not fit. Sat in the studio last night. Fabian Schär, I think he's going to be best part of the full season. Jamal Lascelles is still linked with the move away, and I don't think Jamal Lascelles is fit enough to come back and play for us. Emil Kraft has been out for as long as I can remember. We are threadbare at the back, and having seen Kieran Trippier, and I know he's been out for a couple of months, but having seen Trippier come back last night, there's no way Kieran Trippier is keeping up with Anton Semenyo or Jeremy Doku last night. And he looked out of his depth. And Lewis Miley, while I feel he did really well at right back, you could see Doku, he's a class winger, and Miley's playing in a position that realistically he's only played for a month. We need to bring people in, and my suggestion would be a right back and a centre back, or a versatile right back who can play right and left, and a centre back. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Let me know if you've enjoyed the video. I will be bringing some more content pretty soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.